2023 was a big year for gaming with huge AAA budgets releasing some massive games. But it seems they blew their load in 2023 as 2024 lacks many noteworthy titles. If you only play AAA games, indies thrived a lot this year with so many banger releases I couldn't even play them all. Another Crab's Treasure, Atlas, Little Kitty Big City, and a lot more. Hell, UFO 50 has 50 games right there! Don't tell me 2024 had no games. Shoot. The AAA industry, on the other hand, is all over the place. You got Sony releasing arguably the biggest bomb in gaming history with Concord, which cost them somewhere near $500 million. And they shut down the game in 2 weeks. Then, at the same time, they released Astro Bot, which was literally Game of the Year. Then Microsoft released Indiana Jones, which turned out to be a surprise hit, while in the same year they killed the studio behind Hi-Fi Rush, because I think Microsoft is scared to look too confident. I'd be nervous if I was the dev behind the Great Circle. Then there's Nintendo, which is revving up production for their Switch too, so half the games released in 2024 were remakes. Man, so many remakes in general this year. It really feels like both the gaming industry and the film industry are running out of ideas. It's gotten so bad, YouTubers are putting things into their own hands. Video Game Donkey started his own publishing company and released Animal Well. Yahtzee of Zero Rombam fame released Starship Vagabond, which was pretty fun. Game Maker's Toolkit released a very well-designed Mind Over Magnet, and Max Dude spent thousands of his own money to hire artists, musicians, and modders to fix the ugly as hell Marvel vs. Capcom game and made it gorgeous. Even Sakurai closed his YouTube channel to release a new video game. Anyways, let's review the best games that I played in 2024. As always, this list includes games that I've beaten for the first time in 2024, and that includes some games that weren't released in 2024. And now I've said 2024 so many times that I can't say it properly anymore. Anyways, I'm Coco the Confident Cow, and let's get started.
Golly!
In the year 1993, the best Zelda game of all time released, Zelda CDi. If you don't know about Link the Faces of Evil and Zelda the Wand of Gamelon, let me give you a quick rundown. Philips Interactive Media released something called the Compact Disc Interactive, aka the CDi, which was a media platform similar to CDs that could be used for all sorts of things. Seeing as you might be hearing this for the first time, you can imagine it was a complete failure. But the one thing that survived from this era were the two aforementioned Zelda games for their, unique take on the franchise.
Join me, Link, and I will make your face the greatest in Korodai, or else you will die.
Playing the game itself kinda sucks ass, even playing the PC ports that some people made, but the cutscenes.
I just wonder what Ganon's up to.
Oh boy, the cutscenes.
Lamp oil, rope, bombs? You want it? It's yours, my friend, as long as you have enough rubies.
I'm glad I finally got around to playing this game after all these years. I finally understand the context behind some of these scenes. Though the context doesn't really help. Man, they really don't make games like this anymore.
Good!
Just kidding, they absolutely do. The Mad Lads at Limited Run Games are responsible for publishing a spiritual successor called Arzette, Jewel of Faramore, which was made by a company called CDi Software. Oh. The devs took the Zelda CDi games and molded it into an actually competently designed game. The closest game I can compare this to is something like Shantae, which I also love, although the love is definitely not mutual. In Arzette, you platform, slice, use magic to traverse the land, defeat enemies, and solve puzzles. It's a very basic game, but what makes it so special is its faithfulness to its inspiration. The art style, gameplay, and cutscenes, and of course, the voice acting.
Will this help get you down?
Oh, sweet relief! So long!
Not what I expected. This game is genuinely funny, and I would absolutely recommend anyone who is fond of the Zelda CDi cutscenes, or even fond of meme humor, to play Arzette.
This match will get red hot.
As a reward to my cattle, I decided to play a game that would make me rage unfathomably so. And they chose Cuphead. God damn it, I was literally stuck. God damn it, I hate this game! The indie shoot 'em up in the classic animation art style is definitely ball-crushingly difficult. So much so it can sometimes be off-putting, just like the actual ball crushing. That said, the game is still fun and the animation is gorgeous, and there's really nothing else I could say about this game that anyone else hasn't already said. Except maybe don't play this game if you're not into CBT. And that's probably not a sentence that's ever been uttered before. I've been spending so much of my free time playing Balatro, so I had to put it on this list. It would be a disservice to this game otherwise. Balatro is all about playing poker hands to try and get the highest score possible. That's the meat and potatoes of this stew, but the real spice is all about acquiring these joker cards that really change how you play the game. It's the perfect pick up and play game, and it's how I've been spending my evenings before going to bed. But, much like actual poker and other roguelikes, this game is heavily reliant on luck, and my luck stat is 0. In the Game Awards, the best fighting game category is always just a mess.
There's Kojima, look!
This year had Tekken 8 and Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, which both made sense. But then they also had Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising, which is a re-release of Grand Blue Fantasy Versus that came out nearly 5 years ago. And then Multiverses was also on that list, which was not only nominated in a previous year, it actually won that year. Which is especially ironic considering they just announced they're shutting down this game. Then there's the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, which is a collection of 20-year-old games. I mean, yeah, it's a damn good collection, and you should go buy it so we can get a new Marvel vs. Capcom game, but calling it the best fighting game of the year just feels wrong. Wait, I'm getting sidetracked. My point is, there's another fighting game that got released last year and was totally snubbed. And I'm of course talking about Rivals of Aether 2. In a world without Smash, many competitors strive to take its place. And even though Paramount and Warner Brothers have approximately all the money in the world, they can't even make a good competitor. Meanwhile, these indie devs are showing them up. Rivals of Aether 2 is easily the best platform fighter that's not Smash. The controls feel so tight. They also nail the transition from 2D to 3D. It really feels like they took every word from Sakurai's channel very seriously. My only problem with the game is the roster is kind of small. It's only got 11 characters, which made it difficult for me to find a character I truly jived with. That said, one thing I love about this game is that they promise that every new character they release will be free. That's right, if you own the game, you get access to every new character, and a new character just came out. That's insane! And something I wish all fighting games going forward will do. This game's awesome. Oh! That was sick! Let's go! Last year, I played about 50 different games, so basically one new game a week. I played most of the Game of the Year contenders, including Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, and Balatro. But the one thing I played on that list that absolutely deserved its award was Astro Bot. You could tell a tremendous amount of passion was poured into this game. The polish is superb. The game has very unique levels and some awesome power-ups. It also has some not so unique levels and power-ups. You can tell the game was inspired by Mario Galaxy. And I say inspired loosely here. It's very much a copy of Mario Galaxy. But hey, if you're going to copy someone's homework, picking the smartest kid in the class is not a bad tactic. Orkin Caliente? Oh, that makes sense, but he's not shooting balls at me. Never mind. You know what? Fuck it, I'll shut up. I'll shut up. I know a lot of people say that the Game Awards was rigged or that Wukong got robbed, but Astro Bot is just that good. The game is a pure joy to play, and I'm not even biased. I love Souls-likes a ton, and growing up, I was never a Sony fanboy. Far from it. But even I, with my biases, must say it's one of the best games that was released in 2024. The competition for the best Sony game released this year was a doozy. As much as I liked Astro Bot, there was only one other Sony first-party game that I really liked. And of course, I'm talking about Concord! No, it's Helldivers too. This game is so easy to lose your time to, which is a sign of a good game, really. You'd be like, yeah, I'll hop on and do a couple missions, and it'll be 1 AM. The lighting, graphics, and sound design makes you feel like you're in a war movie. explosions going off, enemies emerging from the fog. You have no idea where you're getting shot from. It can get really hectic and really frantic, which makes the game super tense. I think if I were to criticize this game for something, it's the bullshit battle pass system. The only way for you to get new gear, including weapons, is by leveling up the battle pass. You get one free one starting off, then every subsequent battle pass costs premium currency. Now, the game does give you the opportunity to gain this premium currency, but after 30 hours of playtime, I only just now got enough credits to buy my first non-free battle pass. It's extremely stingy, and there's really no excuse for it. The other non-premium upgrades are also just as grinding to get. After all, I already paid $50 for the game. Why do I gotta pay more? That aside, it's still a very fun game. I love the goofy setting.
But freedom doesn't come free.
No! Sweet liberty! No!
The game is narrated by someone who sounds a lot like Zach Brannigan, which adds a layer of complete irony as you constantly fight for democracy, while in actuality, you live in a fascist state. You know, just like in real life. In 2016, Blizzard took the world by storm by releasing Overwatch. You couldn't escape this game. It was everywhere. You saw people playing it on your Discord, you saw it at the malls, it was all over Pornhub. But nowadays, Overwatch is washed. The lead designer left halfway through 2's development, they scrapped its planned PvE mode, and the lore has been retconned more than a Star Wars film. And so, to take its place comes the best hero shooter since Overwatch. Yes, I'm talking about Concord! just playing. It's Marvel Rivals. I've been playing this game a tremendous amount on my off time. I've already got over, hold on, let me see, 74 hours! I've already got over 74 hours in this game, and it's just so fun. And yeah, I'm definitely including these clips just to show off. It really feels like it captures the glory days of Overwatch, which I used to love playing. This game isn't perfect. The balance is all over the place, there's only a few maps, and a lot of the same issues as Overwatch persist, but god damn, it's so much fun.
And dangerous! Again! 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 Again!
And unlike Concord, the art style is really good. You can tell I like it a lot by my Pornhub search history. I finally got around to playing, and it's so fucking fun. It's all about playing through very short levels as quickly as possible. As you play as a level, you find cards that you can either use to shoot enemies or to use for your movement. So you can dash, shoot an enemy, double jump, ground pound, explode an enemy, and dash to the finish line. As for the story, now bear with me because you probably never heard this before. It's about a guy who has amnesia. Crazy, right? Anyway, he's got to go flying around in heaven and kill demons as he slowly puts together his past, and to figure out who the other Neons are. The story is pretty good, but it's very anime, and it's definitely not for everyone. Whoa! Alright, I'm a big fan of this. This is a good swimsuit episode, 10 out of 10. But I like anime, so I enjoyed it. And the story is really just there to give you context of flying around and killing demons. It's a very fun game that I shouldn't have put off for as long as I have. You know how for a long time now, there's been a bunch of indie games using pixel art that mimic the classic NES and Super Nintendo era? A lot of retro-inspired games out there, and mostly nostalgia for that era of gaming. But now, we're reaching the point that N64 games are nostalgic for a lot of people, and so we have games like Psuedoregalia. Psuedoregalia is a game about a goat with a really thick ass who is navigating a dreamlike world. It plays like a 3D Metroidvania, which is awesome because there's not very many of those. The movement in this game is phenomenal. You can air dash, kick off walls, dive bomb, and so much more. It really feels awesome to play, and the music and art style is very reminiscent of something like an Ocarina of Time dungeon. I loved it so much, and I really wish there was more. I hope that someday there's a Psuedoregalia 2, but with an even bigger goat ass. If you watch my last year's best of video, you'll know that my favorite game that I played last year was Tunic. I love Tunic for both its very good atmosphere and very interesting puzzles. 2024 had a game that gave me a similar vibe of in-depth puzzles and good atmo called Animal Well. Animal Well is in this subgenre called Metroidvania, which is a genre that has the large interconnected worlds and unique power-ups of a Metroid game mixed with intense puzzle solving. The only other games that I played in this genre were Tunic and Fez, which is also a fantastic game. As you progress through the Animal Well, you acquire items that you can use to solve puzzles and escape the Animal Well. But see, beating the game is only just one layer of this onion, or ogre if you prefer. There are actually 3 or 4 layers of onions to complete, depending on your interpretation. The endgame optional puzzles are absolutely insane to an almost bullshit degree. A little too much bullshit if you ask me. Having to look up solutions or guides really breaks the immersion of this kind of game for me. That said, the puzzles I had to look up were mostly for those final layers and are completely optional. But if I have the option, I'm gonna do it! I've been getting 100% on every Metroid game I play and I ain't stopping now! If I had to pick the most underrated game I played this year, it's gotta go to Nine Souls. This game easily slots into my number 2 spot. No other game this year has had me engaged, except for the number 1 game. Nine Souls is a Metroidvania Souls-like. While Hollow Knight is the Dark Souls of Metroidvanias, Nine Souls is a Sekiro of Metroidvanias, with more of an emphasis on the plot and a heavy focus on parrying. Parry's the name of the game, and if you can't hit LB fast enough, well, good fucking luck. One thing I really appreciate about the parry system is that if you mistime a parry slightly, you only take internal damage, which you can get back by doing a real parry, attacking if you have the right equipment, or slowly over time. It doesn't feel as harsh of a game as Sekiro. Not to say it's easy. Alright chat, I got it. I got a new strat. Alright, hold on, we got this. Whoa, 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 whoa! What the fuck? But some of the bosses can be an absolute bitch. Especially the final boss, which for me is the second hardest boss I've ever fought. Now, the thing I like the most about Nine Souls, and the reason I think you should pick up the game, is the story and its setting. The game is set in a futuristic world mixed heavily with East Asian culture. There's lots of lore you can find based on the area that really expands the setting. The lore you find makes the world feel real because there's such a rich and interesting history as you piece together the world's culture bit by bit. And the writing and characters are phenomenal. You will want to protect this kid with your life, and you will absolutely despise some of the bosses you encounter. And the main character, Yi, is one of the most well-written characters I've seen. He has his own motivations that you slowly discover over time. He has regrets, and he has likes, and he has dislikes. Yi is a very fascinating character. Nine Souls isn't a perfect game, and it probably isn't for everybody, which is most likely why it got so snubbed. But if you're in that target audience of Metroidvania loving or Souls-like liking person, I'd highly recommend this game. Easily the best indie Metroidvania I've played since Ori, and definitely top 5 of that genre. Splatoon 3 Octo expansion was a ton of fun. I just wish there was more story and variety. Splatoon 3 also had its Final Fest, which was basically one huge virtual concert with all 3 of the Splatoon idols singing their own songs, with a grand finale of one giant song while you're fighting to prove which idol group is the best. Which was, of course, the Squid Sisters. Let's go Team Pass! Crow Country was a spooky isometric horror game, reminiscent of Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Would recommend if you like either of those games. Lockdown Protocol, a social deduction game that has plenty of ways to troll your friends. Catch! It's got really scummy DLC though. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree was overall fun, but I've got a hot take in that it's not as good as the base game. The escalation of difficulty that's been occurring since Bloodborne has really turned me off of this DLC. But I still got like 50 hours of fun out of it, so it wasn't a waste of time. Black Myth Wukong is a gorgeous game with great bosses and characters full of, well, character. But the level design is ass, and some chapters are so overly long and dull, by the end I just wanted the game to be over. Still liked it though. Penny's Big Breakaway, the game made by the Sonic Mania team, was a fun little adventure with great movement. While I didn't love the game as much as others, it's still a fun indie game that I'd recommend. UFO 50. This game's got 50 games. I didn't finish this. Super Mario Party Jamboree. This game's got more bullshit than Mario Party 3, and that's saying a lot. Dungeons of Aether was a fun little dungeon crawling RPG, and Fleet is great. Superliminal was a fun, very trippy puzzle game. Ending was kinda lame though. Ultra Kill was one of the worst games I've streamed, because people who are obsessed with the game kept coming into my stream and kept backseating me, and it really put a bad taste in my mouth. Which is a shame because the game is actually pretty good. Goodbye Volcano High, a game only possible through the power of the PS5, which I played on my PC through Steam. It's basically a visual novel, and it was alright. I didn't expect that I'd have so much in common with a non-binary pterodactyl guitarist and singer, but I ended up liking the main character a lot. Fucking hated Trish though, that backstabbing son of a bitch. If you're to ask me what my favorite turn-based RPG is, I'd probably say... Well, I'd actually say Undertale, but if you ask me what my second favorite turn-based RPG is, I'd definitely say Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. There's a reason they remastered this game for the Switch, and it's so freaking good. Back in 2004 when Blockbuster was a thing, which really shows my age, I rented it, and I loved it, but I actually never got to beat it since it was so long. I had to return it by the end of the week, and I never got past Chapter 5. But, playing it again 20 years later, and it really holds up. The characters are well written, the dialogue is funny. I've been really depressed lately, thinking about the depletion of fossil fuels. And the badge system adds so much depth and customization, it really makes the combat so engaging. Playing the minigame to make your moves do more damage, or countering attacks just at the right time to avoid damage, makes every encounter much more engaging than your typical RPG. Each chapter begins, and you enter a new area where the locals need your help. Each chapter has their own plot and unique characters and enemies, so you're always looking forward to what the newest chapter holds in store for you. One chapter you must stop the dragon from killing all the villagers and help the timid kid learn courage and get the hot, sexy Koopa girl. While another chapter is a wrestling mystery, where you get suspicious text messages and must uncover the truth behind the arena. And then another chapter is a swashbuckling pirate adventure full of treasure and danger. You really don't know what you'll get wrapped up into next. Once you complete a chapter, you get a section where you get to run around as Bowser and destroy everything in your path. And another section where you play as Peach and seduce a supercomputer by taking off your clothes multiple times. And I am not making that up. The remaster does a good job of adding new things when necessary and keeping the things that made the game good. Obviously the visuals got upgraded, but they also made fast travel a little easier, added dialogue and made it more faithful to the original. So, care to take a whiff of the rich yet delicate set of my world-renowned feet? Maybe just a quick sniff. And they even added new optional boss fights that are very intense. And not to mention the new music fucking slaps. They went out of their way to add a unique battle theme to every single area in the game. Something they didn't have to do at all, but it adds so much flair. The Thousand Year Door is a truly fantastical adventure, filled with high stakes and engaging combat. Not every chapter is a banger. It can have some excessive backtracking, especially during the side quest. And it's overall a very easy game. But none of these issues detract from the overall experience. It's fun, it's charming, and the ending is so beautiful you can't help but tear up. I absolutely adored this game, and it's easily the best game I played in 2024. 2024 was a pretty excellent year for gaming, but I'm really looking forward to what 2025 will hold. The Switch 2 is on the horizon, and I'm really hoping for some bangers from Nintendo, and I'm hoping the other big publishers can make up for last year's absence. So, what do you think of the games that you played in 2024? Which was your favorite, or least favorite? Do you agree on my placement of games on this list? As always, just let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to my channel. I'm hoping I can be a bit more consistent about YouTube this year. I also have a VOD channel where I upload all of my Twitch streams, so if you want to see me play any of the games on this list, you can, anytime you want. And of course, follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Twitch, where I stream 3 times a week. And don't forget to check out the Confident Cow merch over at epiclootsllc.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.